pleasure this evening to introduce your President, Paul Davy, with his speech, How Much Change Can We Tolerate? Now, this may or may not have some relevance to something that we're going to discuss later on in the evening. Paul here is going to talk about, he's going to give a well-organised speech according to the instructions here. Oh, listen out for that. Speech may be humorous or informational. See, but it must reflect on an understanding of the audience. For example, if a member is announcing the departure of the company's CEO, listen carefully. It would be unlikely that this speech would be humorous. But you never know, do you? On the other hand, it might be a balance of each. So let's see what Paul's really going to talk about. Because at this time of year in Toastmasters, this is an important topic. So please welcome Paul Davy.
How many people have ever compared themselves to somebody else? How many members in the club have compared themselves to another member? It's natural. You see where you are in the pecking order, in a hierarchy. You have a look at the newer members and see how much you've progressed compared to them. And you might have a look at the more experienced members and see how far you've still got to go. You probably compare yourself to somebody who started around the same time. So maybe Glenn and Darren might compare themselves to each other. Bilal and Gary, who started around the same time, they might compare themselves to each other. Me, I started around the same time as Simon, so I tend to compare myself to how Simon Day's doing. The problem is, Simon's doing really well. Now in the education, so how I'm getting in pathways, we're doing quite similar. But Simon's taking his speaking skills outside of Toastmasters. He's doing public speaking workshops on the National Citizenship Service Scheme. He's giving speeches at business network meetings. He's joined the Professional Speakers Association. He's just won the national contest for the best evaluator. Me? Me. So it got me thinking, what's the difference going on there? And I wondered, is it our tolerance for change? How much change can we tolerate? Because I feel a bit like I'm the tortoise, just goes slowly, little by little. And he's the hare, racing off, doing all these exciting things. But it's all about change. And I'd like to talk about safety and security, uncertainty, and the sweet spot. So a definition of change could be something that no longer remains the same. But when something remains the same, we have certainty, we have safety and security around it. So in this, if you're on your Toastmasters journey, and you're here to develop as a public speaker, we provide some safety and security and certainty by holding our meetings in the same hotel. We always make sure they're at the same time, 7 p.m. on the first, third and fifth Thursday of every month. If you turn up, the agenda's pretty much always the same. Three or four speakers in the first half, evaluations and table topics in the second half. If you turn up to a meeting, a lot of the faces are going to be the same. We're going to have the same rules about not tearing people down and providing a supportive and caring environment for people. But that isn't going to make us grow. To change, to grow, we need to do something new and something different. Doing something different and new brings uncertainty. With uncertainty we get fear and anxiety. You might get a bit of excitement if you're lucky. So when you want to take that first role as a new member, you're going to feel the fear. You're going to feel the anxiety. So me, when I first started, I was a guest for 5 months before I decided to even join the club. And I remember when I did join, I do the Sergeant at Arms role. I remember writing out meticulously exactly what I was going to say verbatim, so I wouldn't forget and I wouldn't make a mistake. And it took me a few months before I did my first prepared speech, my icebreaker. That was me that taught us. Simon, on the other hand, turned up. He joined pretty quickly. And when he came to his first meeting as a member, he gave his icebreaker speech, which also happened to be in a contest at the same time. He won the contest and then went to the next area to compete on behalf of the club. He was the head. Perhaps what I'm saying is I have a smaller tolerance for change than maybe what Simon does. Simon can take big change, run with it, and then need a rest. And so this brings us to the sweet spot. So maybe all of us lie somewhere on this spectrum. There's a tortoise at one end and there's a hare at the other. And all of us have this amount of change that we can tolerate. We need to change, we need to push our comfort zone, but just far enough so we develop, but not too far that we sort of freak out. And that's where we're going to get the growth. And that's how we're going to get better as a speaker. So to recap, we provide safety and security by having same meeting, same agenda, same time. But uncertainty comes in, and we have to take roles and speeches to improve and develop and grow. But really what we need to find is our sweet spot. Which roles and speeches do we need to take on to help develop us? I'd say there's probably 3 rules. You need to turn up, you need to take a role, and make sure the role or the speech that you take is the one that you need to do to develop. Now at the beginning I mentioned Simon's doing all these wonderful things with his speaking skills and I'm not doing anything. But I am doing something with my writing skills. Now as a personal mission and part of my Pathways curriculum, I'm to set up a blog. So on Sunday, my blog went live with 5 articles. And in the Pathways I have to deliver 8 articles within the month. So I'm going to post 1 each week for the next 3 or 4 weeks to get to that 8. But then my personal mission is to post 1 a week for the next year and to see where I am then. But I still think I'm the tortoise and Simon's the hare. But the question for all of you is how much change can you tolerate? And what's your sweet spot for your journey in Toastmasters?